What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brian and I are going to have a great show for you this Friday. Get you ready for the betting weekend. Brian, as always, buddy, it's good to see you, man. How we doing?
Doing great, Alan. What's happening, man? I was doing a little better before my Hawks got that ass beat last night, but still alive. It's July. I'm not used to still being alive, so all good.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, you get down to these Final Four, right? I mean, it's tough to advance, but you know what? The best part is that you're still alive, man. You got a shot tomorrow night. We're going to see what they can do. We're going to talk about that right here. So, everybody, like we said, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell, CBS Sportsline, alongside Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks is brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sports books. Everybody, make sure to download that BetMGM app. If you haven't done it yet, do it now. I'm telling you. And if you use promo code A to Z100, here's why. Tonight, if you place a $1 money line bet on the Braves game against the Marlins, you could bet on either team. If either of them hit a home run, you get $100 in free bets. The easiest thing that you could do. Make sure to take advantage of it. I have already. It's fantastic. It's quick. It's BetMGM. Download that app. Take advantage of it. The king of sports books. So visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. So, like I said, Brian, it's good to see you, buddy. We're going to jump right into it, right into the picks. We've got serious games in the playoffs right now. We were in the Stanley Cup final. We've got the Eastern Conference Finals. The Suns are waiting to see who they're going to play in the NBA Finals. So, let's just jump right into it. Tonight, like we said, Stanley Cup final, we've got the Lightning at the Canadiens. Lightning lead that series 2-0, but Game 3, first one that's in Montreal. The Lightning are a moneyline favorite of -130, and we've got a total of 5. So I'll say this. Tampa's led this series. I mean, just dominated. We saw what they did in Game 1, saw what they did in Game 2. I think Montreal gave them everything that they could in Game 2, and they lost 3-1. Now, it's definitely going to help going back to Montreal. And it always helps when you have Carey Price in net. That dude is a brick wall. But I think Tampa Bay's on a mission here. And if you look at the numbers, it kind of shows why, right? So through this playoff run, all right, the Lightning are averaging 3.2 goals per game. That's over a 20-game stretch, by the way. Like, that's not any type of aberration, right? Like, and they seem to have caught their stride right now in the Stanley Cup final. You look at their power play. This postseason, they're converting on 36% of their opportunities, and you look at their goal rate on shots this postseason, it's at 13%, which is strong comparatively to Montreal. It's about 9.5, right around 10% somewhere. So it goes to show you the postseason, Tampa's been good. They've been really good so far in the first 2 games of the Stanley Cup final. Brian, I'll throw it to you. Any thoughts here? Anything that you see out of this series, out of a game tonight?
Stanley Cup wise, I don't know NHL and I don't really bet NHL, but I do have a pick. But I'm gonna save it for the parlay.
I got you, buddy. Yeah, and let me say, this is gonna be in my parlay as well, but I'll go ahead and give it to you what I've got. I'm going with the over 5. And look, I understand they've been set at 5. Everyone thinks that it's going to be a low-scoring affair, especially going to Montreal. Carey Price, I totally get it. I understand it. However, like I said, Tampa is at 3.2 goals per game this postseason, and what we've seen from them already, they scored 5 in Game 1. They scored 3 in Game 2. So look, if Montreal is going to win at home, I'm banking on Tampa scoring at least 2. So if we get 2-2 going into overtime, all right, we get a push out of it at what? Worst. I'm banking on that. I'm playing on it. Certainly you could use kind of that same methodology if you're playing the under 5, but I've seen what's been happening so far. I'm going to ride with it. Kind of feels like the College World Series. I think we're going to see both teams scoring tonight, and especially if Montreal's opening it up, I think Tampa's going to be right there with them too. Plus, if you look the last 6 games in this postseason that have been played in Montreal, 5 of them were 5 goals or more, right? Like, the worry, actually, in a weird way, would be Tampa on the road. But what we've seen in the first 2 games of this series, I feel pretty good with it. So I'm going to ride the over 5, and I've got a couple other that are going to be in my parlay. But that's what I'm going with on that game. Now, tonight we've got the Marlins at the Braves. The Braves are a moneyline favorite of -150. They're at home, a total of 9. Saturday, Let's get into it, buddy. Bucks at Hawks, game 6. Bucks lead 3-2. I checked right before we went live. Hawks are a 2-point favorite now. They were 1, opened at 1. We got a total of 216.5. It's gone up a half a point. So, Brian, I'm going to kick it to you, man. Are we seeing a game 7 or the Bucks advance?
Tough to say because we still don't know about Trae Young, but obviously they've beaten Milwaukee twice this year without Trae Young at home, so they can certainly beat them. How about me calling bogey before game 5? Or game 4, I should say. Yeah, Bogey has gotten hot, and I thought he had looked better even though he was 3 of 16 from the field Sunday and had been in that awful slump. But he's definitely back to 100% healthy. You saw that last night as he scores 28 points, really like the only bright spot for Atlanta, other than Cam Reddish, again, playing pretty well and only his 3rd game back since February 21st. Cam had 2 steals, 7 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, 3 of 5 from the field. You know, not playing major minutes, but now he's back in the rotation, so that's a good thing. I mean, if the Hawks get Trae back, I love them to force a game 7, and I think they should be favored even without him. The way they handled him. I mean, look, Brook Lopez. I mean, props to the guy. I don't know where the hell that performance came from, and shame on the Hawks and Capella and Collins for not, offering any resistance to him. I mean, Brook Lopez.
Yeah, Capella, not to interrupt you. Capella's the one that surprised me. I mean, what do you have, 6 points? Like, come on, man. Yeah.
And Lopez dropping 33 on his face, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks. I mean, 2 steals. I mean, Brook Lopez, 14 of 18 from the field. He was just phenomenal. And Drew Holiday, another really good game, 25 points, 13 assists. Look, Milwaukee was brilliant last night. I was actually kind of pleased with the way the Hawks fell down 20, fought their way back into it. We're only down 9 at the half. But then late 3rd quarter, Milwaukee went on a run, and it was game, set, match. So it'd be great to get Trae back. But I don't see Lopez, I don't see him going off the way he did last night, tomorrow night. And I think the Hawks will play better at home. Herter had been playing really well. He kind of had an off game last night, only 3 of 12 from the field. He did have 7 assists, though. And Lou played pretty good again. He had 6 turnovers, but he had 17 points and 5 assists, 8 of 15 from the field. But it's going to take a much better effort. But I think Atlanta will get that at home and force a game 7. And I'll talk about exactly how I'm going to do my pick in the parlay next segment.
Yeah, I feel you. Now, look, I don't have really a play on this one. If I did, I think I would take the total. I think I'd ride the over. These two teams just scare me because every time I think I get a feel on them, it goes completely the other way, right? But what I do see are the numbers, and the numbers are coming up pretty consistent. You look at, the average points scored in the last 5 with both teams. The Bucks are around 114, somewhere around there, and the Hawks around 103, 104, 105, somewhere in there. So I do kind of think that we get to a game 7. I think Atlanta's going to be rowdy. Am I going to bet on it? No. But I do think that we get more than 103 out of Atlanta. And I do think that, we'll get out more than, 108, 109, 110 out of Milwaukee. So I'm going to ride with that one. I think that there might even be an overtime opportunity there. So no really big plays for me on it. But if I did, I think I would have to ride the over on that one for sure. But yeah, we'll talk more about that. Now, rounding out Saturday, again, we've got the Marlins at the Braves. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it's not a really sports-packed weekend just because we're down to, the finals and conference finals games, in the playoffs. So we're getting kind of down to the end here. On Sunday, we've got the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. And look, we're going to break this thing down because everybody's going to want to bet on it. And I've got the numbers for you. We're going to get through it. What I'll tell you right now is that Joey Chestnut is your favorite, minus 3,000 to win. You could take the field at plus 1,200, all right? And we'll break more of it down in a minute, how to go about betting that. He's won, 13 of the last 14, and he's won 5 straight. But we'll talk more about that one here in just a bit. Marlins at the Braves obviously round out Sunday. for sure. And we'll see if we have a game 7, coming up next week. Now, let's jump right into it, buddy. Brian, playoff parlay. I'm going to kick it over to you. You already gave us one, or you gave us a little hint of one that you were talking about the NBA. So let us know what you got. Kick it over to you. What's your parlay? And
yes,
if anybody can see on the bottom, I'm going to scroll it here so that everybody can see what Brian's playing.
There we go. Yes. So, I like that. Nice graphic. So plus 208, 2-team parlay. Again, you don't want to be listening to me with hockey. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've been on a podcast with a guy from Tampa and listened to him talk about the Lightning for weeks. And they look pretty impressive right now. So, obviously this is game 3 back at home is the best chance for Montreal to get a game. There's no doubt about it, but it's also the best game for us to get a reasonable price on Tampa Bay without having to lay the goal and a half, which, by the way, they've covered it, the goal and a half for plus money on puck line the first 2 games. But just straight bet minus 135 on Tampa Bay, and then the Hawks minus 130 on the money line as well. That's what our friends at BetMGM had it about a half hour ago. I'm sure it's still there at the same price. So plus 208, Atlanta Hawks tomorrow night, the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. Let's hope it hits.
I like it. All right, so kick it over to mine. I'm going to go Lightning, Canadians over 5. We just talked about. I think that, this is a good spot for both teams. If we could get Montreal to open it up and just get consistent play out of Tampa, I'm not worried about this one at all. But, we'll see. Stanley Cup final. So I'm going to take the over 5 on that. And also, I'm going to ride with the Astros money line. Again, minus 190. It's expensive. I'd like to play it, by itself, but I don't want to pay that juice. So I'm going to throw it in the parlay here. They opened it back up last night against Cleveland. They look good. They've been on, a little bit of a losing streak there, but their offense looked sharp once again. I think that they get the job done tonight. Again, I looked at maybe playing, the minus 1.5 run line to maybe get a little bit better, but my whole goal is to win this parlay. I don't have to really risk it. It's plus 185. It's not monster by any means, but the whole goal, I just want to win this thing. And you look at what Houston's done. They ranked first in Major League Baseball in OPS against left-handed pitchers, and they've got a great opportunity to get some runs in tonight. So, yeah, I'm going to go Lightning Canadians over 5, Astros money line plus 185. So we're going to kick it to our next segment here, Brian, what we call the most exciting game in sports betting. Usually we go props or parlays. I'm going to change it up a little bit for you, for everybody. And remember, everybody watching, tuning in, you are in this game as well. Give us your picks. Put them in the chat. Put them in the comment section, wherever. And I'm going to put the numbers, everything on the board. What we're going to play is Championship Edition. So I'm going to give you 3 different leagues, and I'm going to give you futures bets. You have to pick one. You could pick more than one if you'd like, but you have to pick at least one. Could be from any league. Let me go ahead and get these on here so everybody can see. There we go. So I'll go ahead and read it. Everybody, get ready. Here we go. So in the NBA, to win the championship, Suns minus 160, Bucks plus 170, Hawks plus 1,300. All right, in the NHL, Lightning minus 1,400, Canadians plus 900. And then you go to Major League Baseball, World Series champion, Dodgers plus 375, Astros plus 600, White Sox plus 750, Padres plus 800, Mets plus 850, Rays plus 1,200, Yankees plus 1,500, and the Atlanta Braves at plus 3,500. So everybody knows the rules. You got to pick at least one. You can pick more than one if you'd like. You'd like to play, any of the ones from different leagues, or kind of hedge yourself in baseball, whatever. But yeah, put those in the chat. Let us know what you're playing. Brian, kick it to you first, buddy. What you got?
Man, I'm not in love with anything. I'm not in love with anything. I'm gonna go the Hawks at 13-1 with the hope that Trey will be back at least by Monday for Game 7. I think he can get by without him tomorrow. I hope he'll be back tomorrow. But the 13-1 looks good. The reason why I'm not looking at the Bucks there, although they're in the driver's seat in these finals, obviously. If anybody wants to go to majorwager.com and read my article, I've got some great quotes about this injury from a friend of mine, renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Michael Gilmore, and you can go to my article. I don't think that if Milwaukee advances, I do not think that Giannis is going to play until late in that series, if then, and I don't know that he'll be close to 100%. if he plays. And there's a lot of reasons to not rush him back. And in my article right there on the front of MajorWager.com, you can go to that story and read Dr. Michael Gilmore's quotes. So that eliminates the Bucks. I don't want to eat the chalk with the Suns. And I do think if Trey comes back and is close to 100%, I think we can win these next two without Giannis in there. And then 13-1 odds would be good going into the finals. So that's all I'm going to do. You guys know I kind of retired from baseball about a decade ago, so I'm not on top of that.
No, I'm with you. And make sure everybody in the chat, tell us who you're going to take. Pick one. You know the rules. We need to hear what you've got. I want to hear them. And I'll say this on mine. I'm going to eat the juice on the Suns, and here's why. I don't think it matters who they're going to go up against. Now, I'm not saying that the Suns are that much better than the Bucks. I'm not saying they're that much better than the Hawks. But I think this time away helps, right? We saw the Suns get time off against the Clippers, came out, won the first two. Now, everybody won the first two against Los Angeles, but I think that absolutely mattered. So I'm looking at Phoenix that's going to come in fresh. And no matter who the Bucks or the Hawks, whichever one wins, we're going to be dealing with this injury situation, whether it's Trey, whether it's Giannis, because even when they come back, these things can flare back up. And I don't even know if they're going to come back 100% and at which game, especially if it's Giannis. So I'm going to eat the juice on this one. I think the Suns get it done. I'm not saying it's going to be a sweep or anything like that, but I do like the Suns in this spot. And again, minus 160 is not something you always want to, just jump on, but it's late. I feel good about it. Now, I'm not going to touch Stanley Cup. I mean, those numbers are crazy. I'm going to look at, Major League Baseball, and here's the deal. If I'm taking the Dodgers, which I am, at plus 375, I'm going to hedge myself here, and I'm going to take three teams, okay? Because I can ride three, and yeah, my payout's going to be less, but now all I have to do is hit one out of the three. So I'm going to ride with the Dodgers, I'm going to ride with the Astros, and I'm going to ride with the Padres. All right, I think that those three teams, nothing I have against the White Sox whatsoever. They're fun. Like, they could certainly do it. I think any of the teams listed could. But I'm going to roll with the Dodgers. I'm going to roll with the Astros. I'm going to roll with the Padres. And if I hit one of them, I'm guaranteed a profit. Let's go. I'd love to hit a Padres plus 800. That'd certainly be nice. But, yeah, that's what I'm going to ride. So I got those three in baseball, and I'm riding the Suns. So take a look at the chat here, see what some people got. Zach Goodman says, take the Padres. There we go. I like that. Our man Lucas says Titans win the Super Bowl. Yeah, you can get those about what? Plus 2,800, plus 3,000, somewhere around there. Pretty solid. Let's see what else we've got. Yep. Said Braves before the update. Soroka, Dodgers, and Suns. Yep, I'm right there with you. I feel you there. Adrian says, Houston, half Yanks, half Angels, money line Phillies. Okay. I see you here. I like where you're going with it, man. Who else we got? Hawks, White Sox, maybe. Yep, White Sox that'd be a good bet. I mean, when that team's hot, especially with their bats, they could get unstoppable there. And we certainly got so much more time. We're not even at the All-Star break just yet. Adrian also says Hawks take the next two of Ice Trey plays. I kind of think so too. I think that they're a better team. I think that, when you look at overall, and especially if Giannis is not going to be in there, like I kind of agree with that. But it goes back to my Suns play too, that if they go 7, like I think that you look at the first 3 games, I think Phoenix is at least taking 2. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not saying, it'd be any type of sweep or anything like that, but I think rest definitely does matter, and they're just healthy. Lewis also says he likes White Castle. The burgers are pretty good. Not bad. NBA Finals, Suns in 5. Yeah, Adrian, I agree, man. I think it'll be somewhere around there because it's just, the postseason of attrition, and the Suns, they're healthy. But, we'll see. Anything can change. Josh Brown says, White Sox get a few good players back for the playoffs. I think it's the best bet. I don't disagree, man. I'm right there with you. Like, I think any of those teams, Major League Baseball can win it, especially those top 4 when you're looking at a Dodgers, Astros, White Sox, and the Padres. The White Sox are a really good team, man. Tony La Russa knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Everybody continue. Put your picks in. We'll keep putting them up. Talk about it. Put them in the chat. Let us know who you're taking. Now, Brian, the most important part of the sports weekend, not the Stanley Cup final, not the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. On Sunday, we have the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, okay? So let me go ahead and get our numbers here so everybody can see it. Let's have some fun with it. Here you go. So like I said, Joey Chestnut, It's won 13 of the last 14, minus 3,000. Now the field, you could take any of the other 9 competitors plus 1,200. And go ahead. What you got?
I just got a question. Whatever happened to the legend Kobayashi? Did he retire?
Yeah. I still see his name pop up, but I don't see him in this one anymore.
Okay.
I'm going to find my other food. Yeah, my other food leads. Yeah.
Didn't he have a streak like Chestnut around like 13 out of 14 at one point?
Oh, yeah, he was the man. Yeah, he was the man. Like, I mean, he was the one that kind of put this thing out there, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
He's retired now. You probably need to retire from this sport after a decade or so, you know?
Yeah. Apparently it's just like the NFL, man. Like, you know, your body just wears down on you. But no, yeah, we've got Chestnut minus 3,000. We've got the field plus 1,200. Now, here's the bet right here. Because who in the world wants to lay 3,000 juice on Joey Chestnut? And I don't mind putting a little bit out there on the field just for fun, because the one that he lost, Matt, I can't remember his last name, he's in this competition. So we'll see. But where it's going to come down to is this: over under 73.5 dogs. Okay. So everybody in the chat, again, I want you to make your play on this, whether you're going over, under. And Brian, I'm kicking it to you here in just a second, but let me explain my thought process here, okay?
Yeah, give me some stats. What's Chestnut's career high?
So last year he goes for 75, all right? But understand this, and it's surprising that in a COVID year, it affected the hot dog eating contest as well. But it did, because 1, there was no crowd. 2, they were indoors. You see what's going around the country. It's hot. It's humid. All right. There's going to be a crowd. It's going to be rowdy. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to completely affect him, but for 2, 3 hot dogs, I think it could. I'm going under 73.5. We're looking at road game conditions here. Now, he might eat 73, right? But if you're looking at it and there are 10 minutes in this competition, okay, that means 73.5, he has to eat what? 7.4 or something, you know. I'm not good when we get to decimals in terms of division, but roughly a little over 7 dogs, right? I don't know if he's doing it, brother.
He ate 75 dogs in 10 minutes last year. It's always a 10-minute limit.
It's amazing. And look, the dude might be even more dedicated, right? Like, he might come out and fire on 80, but my thought process is it's a road game condition. It's going to be hot. There's going to be a crowd. He'll come out firing as he does, but it's slow in that fourth quarter, boy. You know what I mean? That's my thought process. I'm going under 73.5. What are your thoughts there?
I got nothing here, guys. I just don't know. It's going to be a hard pass for me. I'm sorry. I mean, if just for conversation's purposes, I mean, I can't eat the big chalk with Chestnut, so I would go field plus 1,200.
It's not a bad play, right? Because what you just said, I think you brought up a good point, like with Kobayashi. Like, at some point, it has
There's a new young guy coming up.
Like, exactly. Like, where is our, like, young Derrick Henry of the hot dog eating contest that's saying, look, fellas, appreciate we've done the running back position. Daddy's going to have to take it over, right? Is there that person out there? So I don't know, but we're going to find
He's out there. Whether he's going to be in the competition tomorrow, we shall see.
I know. But yeah, Sunday it goes down. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, put it in the chat, everybody, whether you're going over, under 73.5. Let us know on Twitter. I love this every year. It's a whole lot of fun. It's exciting. It's disgusting. Like, I don't know if I could be dunking them in water, but again, I mean, it helps for some reason. Josh Brown says he's passing on the over-under. He's going to take your play, Brian. You two are exactly alike on this. Put a little small wager on the field. I think it's smart. I think it's fun. And yeah, I mean, you know, you've got way more opportunities. At some point, the king has to go down. Pretty much everyone except Tom Brady, right? Like, at some point, someone else has to take over. So, Josh, I don't disagree with you on that whatsoever. Yeah, so – Brian, before we go, I think you wanted to holler at us about some Boston College. Is that right?
Yeah, let's talk about Boston College's season win total. I like it over 7. Now, there is a little bit of a price attached to that at some books, but it's not that big. I'll get to the schedule, which is a huge factor, but let me first talk a little personnel. So I really like this team a lot because of Phil Dracovic. He was a 4-star recruit to Notre Dame. After 1 year at Notre Dame, he transferred to BC. He starts 10 games last year. He completes 61% of his passes for 2,558 yards, a 17-5 TD-INT ratio. He quickly developed chemistry with Zay Flowers, who is a big-time wide receiver, definitely one of the top 5 in the country, probably the best in the ACC, although a couple of Clemson guys may have a little to say about that. But Flowers had 56 catches, 892 yards, and 9 touchdowns last year. They've got all of their starting wide receivers back. They hit the portal pretty well. They've got 8 guys, most of them from Power 5 schools, including Jaden Lars Woodbay, who's been a starter at FSU the last couple of years. And also Hafley, his side of the ball is defense. And last year with COVID, he didn't have the spring, to implement his scheme and whatnot. So they had to keep it pretty vanilla. But after this spring and adding some talent to that defense from the transfer portal, I think they're going to be better on that side of the ball. And Lindy's magazine's got them ranked with the number 2 offensive line in the country. 2 of those guys are preseason All-Americans in Phil Steele's mag, although Phil Steele only ranked the O-line 9th in the country. He ranked in the national unit rankings for Phil Steele. He's got BC's wide receivers at number 18. Their quarterbacks at number 7. Even if Dracovic gets hurt, Dennis Grossel is pretty good. He had a big game when Dracovic was hurt last year at Virginia. They scored 32 points and had 513 yards of offense in his start. So they've got 2 quarterbacks that they can play. They're deep at receiver. They did lose their 2 stud linebackers, their 2 leading tacklers. But after that, they've got their, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they've got their 3rd through 12th leading tacklers back. So 9 of their top 12 or 10 of their top 12 tacklers are back. So, but here's the schedule's the main thing. The non-conference is a joke. Colgate at home. I know it's a road game, but it's UMass, and at Temple. Temple had it going with Matt Rule 5 or 6 years ago. Not so much these days. Then Missouri at home, which is kind of a toss-up game. The only game on the schedule that really looks unwinnable, if you will, is at Clemson. But remember last year, they were winning at Clemson most of that game, ended up losing 34-28. So I am marking that as an L. But then they get an open date, and then they have their toughest ACC games are all at home, that being NC State, Virginia Tech on a short week on a Friday night where cold weather in early November up in Boston, or Chestnut Hill, I should say. And then they get FSU and Wake Forest at home, and that's a cold weather game for the Seminoles on November 20th. Their road games in ACC play, besides Clemson, should be easy wins at Louisville, at Syracuse, and at Georgia Tech. I think BC wins 8 or 9 games. I like it over 7. That's my favorite season win total.
I love it. I love it. You got Boston College down. Now, a couple things before we go. First, Adrian lets us know Italy 1-0 just scored. Nice. I hope it was my man Immobile. Me and a buddy, we had a little prop play going on this. But the big dog, our man Austin Stanley, says life's too short to play the under, and it's shorter when you eat 70-plus hot dogs in 10 minutes. I think he's onto something here. I'm still riding the under because I think road game conditions coming to this one, but Austin's probably pretty right on this. So, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Continue letting us know who you're going to play, not only tonight, but tomorrow. I definitely want to know if you're going over-under on some hot dogs. We're going to break that thing down, and we're going to go live, at least on Twitter of talking about it, and that's going down. So, seriously, for everyone at A to Z Sports, for Brian Edwards, for myself, want to tell everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful July 4th weekend. I hope you get to rest, relax. I know everybody works hard. Last year was kind of crazy. So enjoy it. We really do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Happy 4th, everybody.